Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy!
Hey, welcome back to the Ages of Rock podcast. This is episode number 30. Does that look right? Okay, whatever. Anyway.
The second one.
Glad to be back. We took a week off. We had some family stuff going on, so we
Vacation, bitches!
Somebody went on vacation, and then we had some other family stuff. Anyway, we're back. So we needed to get caught up. There's some of us have been to some shows recently that we need to talk about, and we have just some general stuff. So this is Rockpourri Volume 2. That'll be our subtitle for the show. We'll come up with something clever, I'm sure. But
no. That's it. You got it.
That's it. All right.
Thank you. See you next week.
Yeah, see. That was awesome.
Short.
Great show.
Less than a minute.
Yeah. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about we always talk on the show sometime about new music that you've listened to. We usually end the show that way or something like that, but I kind of want to start there. So there's a couple of bands that I got turned on to recently that I cannot seem to turn off. That doesn't happen often. I mean, you hear a band that you kind of gonna go, whatever, but I'm like alternating between these two bands. I'm ridiculously infatuated. So, just kind of weird, but, one of them is a band called, John, yeah, Barry Manilow and
Air Supply.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay. Anyway, no, one of them is a band that, it still exists, but not with the same lead singer. And that is a band called Gothard. They are from Sweden, and I really, really, really dig it. It is a lot of some ballad type stuff, quite a bit of ballad stuff, but the music ranges from melodic rock to acoustic. They have an acoustic album out, but it's really good stuff. I've really found myself drawn to it. The lead singer, I think, died, and I can't remember how long, and they have a new lead singer and a new guitar player. They're still out touring from what I can tell. Not heavily, but somewhere, in Europe, they're around. They hit some of the festival shows and stuff like that. So I've downloaded 3 albums. I downloaded an album called Domino Effect, an album called Lip Service, which is really good. I like it. And then I found a song that I really liked, and I had trouble finding it. And it ends up being on an all-acoustic album, and it's a live album called what's it called? Oh, it's called Defrosted. What are you doing?
Our ghost is back.
Is it back? I wonder if it's my hard drive.
No, I was on mute. I
So
know
was I.
mute. Yeah. It's Bill's headset. It's causing that.
It could be.
Anyway, it is what it is. We'll work on that later.
Okay. Anyway, so I had a flow going, you monkey heads. Anyway, so
We're geeks. We're trying to figure out the trouble.
You're assholes. Okay. So anyway, and there's an album called Defrosted, which is a kind of cool title for a more of a stripped down acoustic live album. And I really like it. There's a song on there called Hurry. It's got some bongos in it. It's got a little bit of a different beat, but it's really, I really do like it. So you got to check it out. Another band, I'll talk about them in a little bit. We had a guy on a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about Red Sun Rising, and I downloaded that album too.
That's really good.
Yeah, it's really good, called Polyester Zeal. And that was really good too. And that was Alan's buddy that was on, and that was pretty cool stuff. So, and then some music news for me. You guys listen to anything new lately? Caught anything?
Honestly, no. I've been busy as hell.
Swamped.
Well, we all have been swamped. New wise, no. Actually, the Red Sun Rising was something that I was driving to work the other morning, and on 89.1 there was something playing. I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Shazammed it, and it was Red Sun Rising. I was like, oh, okay, that's the band. That's cool, because I only Shazam things that I like and want to put on my iPod. So
So
I only use Shazam when I'm in my like
is,
red and
is
yellow
Shazam
leotard.
our new Spotify?
No, it will be today.
It will be today.
Exactly.
Anyway,
So nothing else from that?
No.
no. Other
right.
than that, no, I'm good. Go for it.
Okay, so last week, Wednesday night, I took Noah, my 15-year-old concert buddy who likes to go to stuff. We went to see Whitesnake at the Murat Theater in Indianapolis. I'd never been there before in the
It's a
Murat
great theater.
room. Great venue.
Great. Was you upstairs in the actual theater?
We sat in the balcony.
Oh,
We sat up in the balcony. We were in the second row, not of the lower balcony, but of the upper
Right.
balcony. But
That's
I
where
tell
I
you,
was
if you're
at.
sitting in the lower balcony,
Awesome.
that would be awesome. But we saw, didn't know the show was supposed to start at 8, so we really didn't have any idea if they were going to have an opening band. And walked in and walked by the merch table, and we saw Whitford St. Holmes
Right.
on some T-shirts. I'm like, hey, I remember them from a couple years ago.
Wow.
I think that's Brad Whitford and Derek St. Holmes. And I'm like,
Right.
is that really who that is? So I got inside the venue and and I start researching it. I'm like, this is gonna. I'm trying to tell Noah this guy, the lead singer,
you're getting
guitar player, and the other guys from
you're getting a 2-for-1 on this one.
yeah, and the the other guys from lead guitar player from Aerosmith, and he goes, oh yeah, whatever. He loved it. At the end of it, he goes, they were really, really good. And I downloaded that at the event. I was downloading it while we were sitting there.
See, I did the same thing at the Murat. I did the same thing. I downloaded the person I was listening to, downloaded the songs there.
And it was really good. And then I walked out of the theater and found out after I downloaded it from iTunes that I could have bought the CD and got the original CD that they had for the same price, which kind of sucked, but It was all right. And then I saw some people they'd signed some stuff apparently at some point, which is kind of cool. But it was really good melodic rock. I didn't realize Derek St. Holmes sounds great. I mean, and so did Brad Whip. They both sound really good. They sounded good. The show was really good. We didn't realize that we ran into the drummer out in the parking lot before the show. Didn't know who he was, but Noah's like, that dude's in a band. He just long, kind of dark haired, straight. And he goes, that dude's in a band. Well, it was the drummer.
Well, he wasn't wrong.
He wasn't wrong. And they played for probably close to an hour. And like I said, good stuff. And then Whitesnake came on, and I really enjoyed them too. Noah didn't seem to enjoy them as much, just because I think he, oddly enough, wasn't as familiar with their music, but he really liked the other band. I think they were a little bit different styles. But David Coverdale sounded really good.
Dude, it's just, he
looks just like he did in the 80s. I mean, he doesn't look much different. The only thing I thought was kind of odd was, as the show progressed, you could tell that his register changed.
Right.
So when it got down to the end of the night, when they did Still the Night, and a couple of other big hits at the end, it wasn't the same register as what the show started. It wasn't bad. It wasn't like this drastically.
Who was their guitar player? Do you know by chance?
Reb Beach and
so Reb was with them. Okay.
Yeah, it was Reb Beach and daggone it, I wrote it down, I forgot it.
That other dude.
It wasn't Doug Aldridge. Tommy Aldridge
Doug had played with him for a while. Doug had left.
Joel Hoekstra.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they were really good. I mean, they were really good. The band was good. I thought it was a great show.
So did they play? So what was his bulk of his? I mean, was it the 80s Whitesnake, or did he play like the slide it up or slide it in?
They played slide it in. They played. Yeah, they played about 15 or 16 songs. I lost count.
Awesome. I tell you what, Dave has. I mean, that dude, considering how many bands he's been in and how many eras of music he's been through, that dude still is held up and looks, sounds, and does a great job. I mean, he's a top of the heap as far as I'm concerned.
I was very impressed. It was interesting because when he did, they did "Fool for Your Lovin'" and all that stuff, and it was very interesting how they played it off. I was trying to look up I can't remember the title of this one song to save my life at the moment. I'm just freaking out. When he did, when he did "Is This Love," He's on the stage, and there's like 4 rows right in the very front that was like a pit area, and he looks right at this woman, and he's singing the beginning of that song to that woman. I thought,
and
dude,
she just melted. She's just like done.
They didn't have a video or anything, but you could tell he was like, and he was doing the whole thing and talking to her. He was just, I'm sure she was flipped out because you could tell by the grin on his face. It was funny, but I've never actually seen them even perform live on TV, so I really didn't have any idea what to expect from a band interaction experience kind of thing. And it was really good. And I think that was the perfect setting for that show.
It's a great theater.
Yeah. And it's not big. I don't know how many people it seats, but
I don't know either, but it's
3,000,
it's a perfect,
maybe that's a perfect setting, because putting them at Klipsch, or trying to put them at
it was probably fairly full, wasn't it?
Or the state, it was packed.
See, that makes it a great thing, because, like I said, if you put them in Klipsch or anything like that,
or the Ford Center, would have been crickets.
Like when we seen some of the other
Priest.
Yeah. I mean, it's like really.
It really made a big difference, and it really made it feel even a little more intimate, even though you were upstairs. You could see them perfectly fine. You weren't very far away, so that was a great show. I've got another show coming up too. We're going to see Joe Walsh and Bad Company tomorrow night.
Oh, are you going to see that? Awesome.
Yeah.
See, I wanted to go see that, but there was no way I could make it up to Indy to catch, because I want to see Joe Walsh, which he's the opening band.
Yeah.
And there was no way I could make it to Indy with the time change in time to see him.
Yeah. And I think it starts at 7, so it's kind of early.
That's an early show for me.
So they're probably going to end up playing probably each for an hour and 15 minutes or something is what I'd guess. But
that'd be
those were a Live Nation.
You'll be able to give us a
definitely give it up
too.
Live Nation did a thing sometime in May, middle of May, something like that. And all shows, they had a big list of shows that were $20, including service and everything.
You had the tickets to the one you had to give up.
Tickets to Keith Urban, I guess. I had sold all those. I've turned into a ticket broker. I sold all those. I didn't want to, but I did. I sold all those, and then I bought tickets for Joe Walsh too. So, and the White Snake tickets were $25. That was a great.
Still, that's a good. I mean, the thing is, put asses in the seats and sell merch and sell, beer and all kinds of other stuff.
Yep.
Just get the place full. That's the whole point. Put butts in the seats.
Yeah. So anyway, those are a couple things that at least a show that I went to, and then one I'm looking forward to tomorrow night. Cool. So,
well, see, you mentioned the Derek St. Holmes, and I actually almost got to meet him. I got real close to it. Him and Greg Smith,
and then security come in.
No, they were with they're with the Ted Nugent band, but they also got a band called Off the Road. And it was a band that they had when Ted wasn't touring. They, and nobody else was doing anything else. They had this other band. Well, they would play at the St. Minor Rocks show. Well, they played. Derek and Greg both played on the Friday night, headlined that night when I had to work, and then the Saturday night we were not the headliner, but we were toward the end of the night, and then. 2 years ago, Greg was back again with Off the Road, and Derek wasn't with him at that point. But we were playing the same night, but we got rained out. But I did get to meet Greg at that point. Real nice guy. Greg Smith's a really, really cool dude. And but like I said, Derek, to me, I drove around in my 72 Maverick with an 8-track tape player, listening to Double Live Gonzo, and Stranglehold. And that was Derek St. Holmes. I mean, that's the dude that sang. You think about Ted sang a lot of his tunes, but the ones he didn't sing, that was Derek. I mean, so if you, and I'm sure you saw, I'm sure he played a few of those tunes.
Yeah, they did a cool thing at the end. They did a thing where they played some old Aerosmith stuff. Like Brad Woodford would play some stuff and play part of a song and sing, and then
that's cool.
Derek would do Ted Nugent song. They did an Aerosmith song. They did a Ted Nugent song, and it was cool.
Somebody, all those songs were. I mean, except for the ones who were Ted sang.
Right.
Most of those were Derek. I mean, Derek sang most of those ones that the big hits of the '70s. That was Derek. He was ringing it out. And the guy's a hell of a guitar player too. So
Yeah, I mean, he was playing. I was surprised. He would throw a pick out and play like almost the whole song with no pick and just play with his fingers, and it was really good. I mean, it was very entertaining. I thought that he did a really really good job. You could tell those boys had been doing that for a while, knew what they were doing.
Greg actually has been with, or not Greg, but Derek's been with Ted since the 70s. So I mean, he's been doing it since the 70s.
Yeah,
he's been around forever.
That was really good.
Awesome.
All right, what else you got?
Let's see. Concert wise, I went this week and saw, or actually last Friday night, went and seen. It was two local type bands and Cracker at the. It was at Lincoln City. They got a little amphitheater out there. They got a 1,500 seat amphitheater. It's outdoor at Lincoln City. I tell you what, it's a really nice venue. I mean, the sound is really kick butt for the little equipment that they had there. Sounded really good. They had a band out of Indianapolis called East Hills. I don't know if you heard of them, Bill.
No, I don't go. I don't go to shows.
They're
up there
a three guitar, but I mean they're about our age. They're about in their mid 40s, probably mid 40s, 50s. Three guitars, bass player, drummer, and keyboard player. All original tunes. Never heard a song that they ever had, but I tell you what, enjoyed them. I listened to them. Kelly and I both was like, man, these are guys that are pretty. They were. When you hear
all originals, it was all originals.
All originals.
Oh, that's cool.
I tell you what, when you can sit there and listen to 45 minutes of original music and not be put off, I was pretty impressed actually. Next up was the Cold Stairs, which is from a band from Evansville. They have just recently, I think, Alan, they just signed a contract, didn't they, in Nashville?
I think so. They've signed 2 or 3 contracts. I think every time they put out an album, they do a new contract with another record label.
Right.
I don't know.
So anyway, they supposedly signed. I just seen something recently on Facebook on their page that they had signed a new contract, whatever, and they recorded in Nashville. They've got a couple albums out. If you look them up on Spotify, they're on actually Spotify. The Cold Stairs. And they're a band based. They're kind of like a band called Royal Blood, which has made it fairly big. They have they're just basically a drummer and a guitar player. And what they do is the guitar player has doublers and has a deal where it makes it sound like bass, and he'll kick it in at that point with his foot switch. So it's a 2-man band. But I'm telling you what, their stuff is really good. And I had actually never heard one of their songs. I'd heard of them, but not one of their songs. And I got home, I'm like, holy crap, that was good. I mean,
I saw the Cold Stairs a year and a half or 2 years ago here in Evansville at Mojo's.
And same thing. I mean, did you have the same feeling?
Oh yeah, they tore it up.
Oh, I mean, and the
place was packed.
He looks to me like Kelly even said it. It was a guy from here. I go, that guy. No, it was the guy who won. No, it's the guy who won American Idol. Played the left-handed guitar. Ah, damn it! It was the year
you lost me at American Idol.
Yeah, took my mom. It's a year I took my mom and dad there. It was a real cool guy. Had a brother. He lived from St. Louis. Brother had cancer. Blah blah blah.
Was he the older guy?
No, the younger guy.
Younger guy.
Anyway, he kind of reminds me of him. But here we go.
I know Chris Allen won, but was
it's not Chris Lee. No, God damn it. Shit. I get yelled down to Kelly. Hold on a second. Give me here. You guys talk among yourselves for 2 seconds. This will be funny. No, this will be funny. Okay, hold on.
So as Dennis is away, let's talk about Dennis.
Chit-chat. Dennis doesn't. He has chicken legs. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah. So while Dennis is away, I will mention that the closest I come to seeing a show last week was walking down Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
Yeah, you saw a show.
Well, it really wasn't much of a show. I had some guy that was dressed as a woman that walked up to me and was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I just pooped myself." But I think he knew that I was looking at him trying to figure out if it was a man or a woman.
Yeah, there you go. There was a bar that I went to down there, and they had a Judas Priest tribute band. And They were really good.
Ooh, if we had come across that, I would have just told
Yeah, it was in a bar, and I can't
Laura
remember
and
what it was
Ian.
called. It
I'd
had
have
like
been just like,
purple and green, but everything was purple and green. So
yeah. Well, if that had showed up, I would have just told Laura and Ian, I'll see you back at the hotel.
yeah,
Because there really wasn't that
as
much
funny as I
going
thought
on.
that would be. She's actually not even here. I'm yelling at somebody. Anyway,
the ghost.
The ghost.
The ghost.
I mean, I'll pull it up here in a minute when I stop talking. But anyway, those guys are really, really, really good. And if you're from Evansville, check those guys out. I know my wife and I are both going to go.
The
Check 'em out.
Cold Stairs.
The Cold Stairs.
Stares.
I was assuming you meant like look, not as in
it's a
wooden
stair.
stairs that are cold.
No,
So,
and that's the thing about it.
We get
check
those
out,
from the wives.
always check out your local bands. Always promote the local bands.
it's
Not that I would
shameless
ever
plug night
promote
on-
my own band.
He just rock.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow. You
But
look
anyway,
The Gene
Cracker-
Simmons School of Self-Promotion.
So anyway,
You owe Gene 50
after,
cents.
after the two really good local bands of songs that I've never heard before, there was a band called Cracker that was the main band, which had a song called "Low." That was their big song from I think '93. They had a big album, and there was another song I can't remember the name of it. They came out and they were supposed to be the big headliner. And I tell you what, it was a letdown. I wasn't real impressed. Sound wise, they sounded good when they played. The lead singer, guitar player, constantly was having trouble supposedly hearing himself. He sounded good when he was singing, no problems whatsoever, but kept messing with the guy at the side, the sound guy. At one point, even at the end of the song, threw his acoustic guitar down on the ground, walked over, had a little piss fit with the guy, come back, and it still wasn't right. Luckily, at that point, they sang that one song, "Low," that we were wanting to hear. And after it was over with, Kelly and I looked at each other and said, hey, we're hungry. We hadn't ate supper yet because this show started at 7:00, so we had to get straight up there. And I said, you know what? We heard the song we wanted to hear, and the next song was basically another country song. And it's like going, you know what? We're out of here. And so, the thing is, you know what, dude? I mean, just a little advice. You were probably playing to 400 people up there. It sounded okay. You made yourself look like a diva. Don't do stuff like that.
Those little events should happen when the show is over.
Yeah, exactly. You go back and say,
as a sound guy sitting here, up on above us here, one of Alan, I am pretty sure that your motivation to make that sound really great after he has a little pissing match is not all that motivated.
well, I'm on the stage. You know what? I'm on the stage every night.
Sometimes
I don't know why your mic doesn't work.
Yeah.
The thing is, you know what? The show goes on. I'm not going to fuck with it. If during break, if I can, or sometime get to the board, we do our own self deal, whatever. A lot of times, I don't want to run an extra monitor. I can kind of hear if I only sing 2 songs, so I'll go off hers, and usually it's on. My thing as a guitar player, all I listen to is our drummer. I don't care what the other 2 are doing. If they're following the drummer, we're all good. So I don't listen to anybody else but the drummer. So I don't even need. Everybody works about these in-ear monitors, and I got to hear this. I don't need to hear shit. I need to hear the drum. Me and the drummer need to be on key. If everybody else is in with the drummer, we're good.
So what if your click tracks get off?
There's no click track. I'm going with the drummer. And if he fucks up, I'm going with him. We're both going down.
We don't use click tracks.
But I'm thinking that people
click tracks are okay. It's the backing tracks that are
that's
a little
true.
more iffy.
Worry too much about. I need this monitor. You know what? I've never ever, because I know we've actually played in some positions where we've actually had monitor. It's the same amount of rocks last year. They're going, well, how much monitor? Going, dude, it's fine.
Yeah.
As long as I can hear. I'm not going to sit here. I don't need.
Different musicians, have different things that they key off of. Especially if you're playing something that's repetitive.
Right.
because like the song "Low" by Cracker, it's a 4-chord song all the way through this.
Right.
So it's good to have something like that in your monitor, so that
Right.
you can kind of pick up where if you get lost.
Right. I think his was his voice, but his voice sounded fine. And I don't know if he was.
But I mean, I understand where he's coming from, just from when you can hear yourself, at least when I'm singing or whatever. If I hear myself, I don't know how to describe it, but when I hear myself through the monitor, I feel like I'm holding the pitch better and staying.
It does. When I've done that situation where I've been able to hear myself, it's a lot better.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm not gonna throw a fucking fit.
Well, as a sound guy, it would never be my goal to intentionally make something like that happen. But when the guy's complaining, you try to tweak it between songs, but you don't want to EQ that one frequency that hits the mic in that hot spot and gets it screaming.
Well, that's what happened. Was the guy ended up turning up so much that they started to get a little background. Like going, oh Jesus, and I mean,
every sound guy has a good night. Every sound guy has a bad night. And when you have a bad night like that, on top of the guy screaming at you because something's going on.
Or that, like, heard the stories about Simmons going over spitting on you. That would happen one time.
No.
That would be the last.
I never heard about him spitting on a sound guy.
I haven't heard that.
Oh, you've not heard that?
No.
Oh, it's
if anybody spits on me, I'm going to jail.
I would. You know me, I'm the guy who just punched Gene Simmons in middle concert. No, I wouldn't take shit like that from them.
I noticed that I think David Coverdale was having some issues because he kept fiddling with his wireless set, he would have an error, so he would. Yeah, so he was fiddling with that, and he'd look over every now and then and make some gesture or whatever, and finally he went over there and stood, and he turned his background, and they must have changed his pack because I saw this woman come up.
It must have been like
his batteries were probably dying.
Yeah, so they changed, but it was like this was early in the show, like very early. I would think they'd change those every song, but I mean every tour, or show, but maybe not.
Did you see that show down at Fast Eddie's that night where the guy from Rat, guy from Rat was down there?
Steve Piercy?
Yeah. Did you see that?
Uh-uh.
Where the band before him, I won't mention the sound company that worked that. It was an Evansville sound company. But the band that was before them, the microphone went dead on the guy. So instead of fixing the microphone, they basically kept drinking the whole break. And Steve, they got up to get ready, and the band's like, dun, dun, get ready, and he's like going, he's it's like, and they had to start. Dude, I'm telling you what, I thought he was going to go fucking ballistic. And it was just that mic. It's like
that's irresponsible.
And they knew the mic was
professional.
Dude, I was in the audience. I knew the mic was bad. When he grabbed it, I'm like, "Well, they didn't do nothing to that mic. I knew it was bad." Anyway,
yeah, that's not going to work.
So anyway, we're potpourri. Bill, I mean, Alan, you got any? You go when you were in New Orleans? Did you not see anything music?
I saw titties. And I saw some guy dressed like a woman who, and I already told Bill this while you were off yelling at nobody.
Oh, okay.
I saw a guy dressed like a woman, and I couldn't tell for sure if it was a guy or a girl. So he come up to me and let me know he was a guy.
Okay.
But other than that, no, not really.
No music.
We were only there for a couple of days, and since Laura had never been there before, we went and did the stuff that she wanted to do.
Yeah, that's cool.
We'll go back some other time and. We'll hit the nightlife and find music and stuff like that.
Yeah, what's that? I can't remember. I texted you that the Foo Fighters when they did Sonic Highways.
Hey, there you go.
I know they did that. They had that. Gosh, what was it called? It's some kind of it's a band that they had that is in New Orleans. That's it's called Congregation.
Yeah, it's a place where they,
Yeah, well, they play every day or something like that. I thought it looked pretty cool. I actually listened to a little bit of their music after that was over, and it's definitely New Orleans jazz type music. It's definitely not something that I listen to all the time, but I thought it was kind of cool. Definitely a cultural thing.
Real quick, I had time to look it up. The guy from Cold
Can't
Stairs,
see that at all.
David Cook. Kelly
Oh,
said
David Cook, yeah.
Kelly said it reminded her of David Cook, his look and his way. But he's got a great voice too. So anyway, check Cold Stairs out. That's my local pump for the week. Anyway, we're going to do something else this week. What do you want to do?
Okay, so we were going to just do a random question for the three of us to see kind of how you answered the question.
All right.
All right. So I'll go first.
Go for it.
What is the song in the car that you've got to sing loud? And if the windows are down, you don't really care if anybody hears you.
Carry On, Wayward Son.
Man, it's just all of them. I sing loud.
There are a bunch of them.
You know what? And I do it with the windows down. I don't give a shit. I heard
a lady I was sitting there, she was singing Barbra Streisand, and she was like,
well, it was 70s tune.
She was flat getting it. I gave her the thumbs up. She looked over. I was like, yeah.
No, I don't have a specific tune. I mean, I like to sing, and I really don't give a shit anymore. I'm 50 years old. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either.
So
I think I may have told you guys this story once, but I was driving up Green River Road here in Evansville one day, and I was stopped at a stoplight, and I had my windows rolled down, and Do You Want to Touch by Joan Jett.
Right.
I had that cranked loud, and I was singing along, and I happened to look over, and my supervisor was in the car next to me, and she was laughing hysterically, which at the time, I don't even think I was 30 yet. I hadn't been working there very long, and I was just beat red embarrassed. Turn the radio down, roll the windows up, But now I do that, and I don't care.
Well, it could have been worse.
But
you could have been playing the Divinals, I Touch Myself.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
See, I consider the car like the shower. When you get in there, it's holy ground, and you can just do whatever you want. And you know what? Even if the windows are open or not, you know what? I'm singing, and I'm looking at you when I'm driving. I'm like going, "Hey, I'm gonna sing."
Well, today's "Sing As Loud As You Can" song was "My Michelle" by Guns N' Roses.
I was on the phone all the way home, so I didn't get a chance to sing. But
yeah, I was singing the other day. I was singing "Walking in Memphis" by Mark Cohen.
Yeah.
Cohen, whatever his name is. Yeah, that's a song that I really like. It's slow and it just kind of, it's kind of got a good groove. Right. It's interesting because I'm singing when I'm mowing. So anybody's out there, I'm
actually
on a lawnmower, man.
Kelly,
and I'm just singing. So I mowed last weekend, and I come in the house, and I'm still singing, and Lisa's looking at me, and she goes, "That sounds really bad."
We were going to.
I said, "Well, don't you understand what it is?" And she goes, "No, I can't even recognize it." I'm like, oh my God.
That is awesome.
We were on our way up to Madison, and there was a Pat Benatar song on the radio, and I sing falsetto all the time anyway. I mean, when I don't do the band thing, but when I'm in the car. But I can't remember even which song it was. But Kelly's like going, "You know every fucking word to that song." I'm like going, "I do, and I could sing it."
A lot of songs. That's surprising.
I can tear it up. I mean, that's my one thing is I may not be able to sound great, but I know every freaking word that I sing. Which is a lot of people I know who sing well who
don't remember the words.
Throw shit in.
Yeah, I got about 10 years ago, I was out on the riding lawnmower, and my neighbor let me know when I was done mowing which Kiss songs off of the Revenge album stop singing.
And we were in Bloomington last night, and we went to a restaurant, and they were playing Strutter. They're just playing 70s music in the restaurant, and they played Strutter. I was like, I mean, that's not a song you typically hear,
right?
And I was
Let's play a song about a prostitute.
It's funny because we can hear they played. So Kiss has gotten to the Muzak rotation, and a lot of. So at Kroger the other day, we were at Kroger and they were playing Rock and Roll All Night.
Oh, I know.
It's funny because those of us that are really fans, right? You're like, I'm going through Kroger, and all of a sudden I stopped. Yeah, check it out. So I'm just singing along. And it's funny because I stopped and I looked back, and Lisa and Noah are behind me, and they're both going.
That you say that. I was somewhere here recently in the same deal. We were in a store and it was on. I was like going, that's so weird that it's on in the store. But I don't remember where the hell it was.
That's cool.
No, it is. I mean, it's
I heard New York Groove in a store.
I've heard
caught me off guard. That one.
I heard Hard Luck Woman in an elevator that was actually Muzak. It was.
Oh yeah.
It was the Muzak version. It was not their version. It was a a piano or orchestra. I mean a organ type thing. Keyboard. The organ. Yeah. Keyboard. God.
Organ.
There you go.
The word organ.
Folks, we never claim to be professional. We are professional dumbasses.
All right, are we ready for another question?
Sure.
All right. This is a good question.
Uh-oh.
All right.
That was assuming mine was not a good question.
No, it was a great question. I thought about this one a lot. If you could go back in time, all right?
What if I could turn back time?
Shh. Yeah. You're hard to get my dress. Like an idiot. No. Go back in time, and you could be in any band. You can play any instrument. Now you got to think about this, though. You got to be able, and then you got to stay with this band. You can't change anything that they've done. You're just going to be a player in this band. I'm going to give you my. I'll do it first because this will give you kind of a thing. You would think that I would go back and be somebody in Kiss, but I wouldn't.
Nobody knows.
I don't want to be playing fucking rock and roll all night for the next 40 years. I want to play something that's fun. I want to be in a band that's fun. I would go back and be in Cheap Trick and be the guitar player for Cheap Trick. Be Rick and take basically Rick Nielsen's spot. If I could go back in time and be able to play that, we played. No, I'm not Rick Nielsen, but you know what I'm saying.
What Dennis is saying, folks, is he really can't play the guitar.
No, I can't.
That's pretty. That's pretty cool.
Sorry,
but I'm saying. But the thing was, you get to listen to it. I like their catalog of music. I like what they play now. They've never really. I don't think I would get bored. I still don't get bored playing the tunes that we play of them now. I don't think I would get bored. Kiss, I would probably shoot myself. I'd be the first Kiss member to ever commit suicide because I got to play the same song.
I think it was Vinnie Vincent that committed suicide. Not just professional suicide, not real suicide.
What is our song list for tonight? Oh, okay. Where's my?
It's the same 12 songs as it was last time. And the time before that.
I don't have to ask about a song list? Okay, that's okay. But
wait a minute. We're going to move, shout it out loud, and we're going to flip them.
Oh,
it makes all the difference.
It does. Oh,
but no, I've thought about this a couple of times when we've talked about this with some other friends, and I just thought Cheap Trick would be a great band to be in because just the way their music, the way they've, I think, they're like, oh, wouldn't you want to be in Kiss? I was like, no, I don't want to fuck with all that makeup. I don't want to, I like the way that they've progressed. I mean, they haven't been fantastic through the whole thing, but they've been consistent, and that's what I like. So anyway, Alan, what do you think? What would you be?
Probably the guitar player for the Guess Who.
That'd be decent.
A Canadian band.
A Canuck.
Yeah, the band that broke up pretty much. Well, they didn't break up. Randy Bachman left the band before I was even born.
Right.
But
then he went on to do another band that
Bachman
made a
Turner
couple
Overdrive.
of bucks or two.
Yeah. Bachman Turner Overdrive.
Right.
Which I just recently come across it's Bachman Turner, because since Randy's brother's not in the band, they can't use the overdrive part. But
Right.
I came across a concert video of them from a few years back that was really good. I'd never seen any live BTO, but I saw
I've never
that.
seen any. I don't think I've ever seen
It,
any.
it was really good, and I was really surprised because the bass player, Frank Turner, that dude's got some chops.
Huh.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. He's the one that sings with the really gravelly voice. I
Right.
always thought Randy Bachman saying everything.
Yeah, I had no idea.
But
I wouldn't.
I didn't know that till I watched the video.
I wouldn't know.
But the Guess Who have a lot of songs that I really, really, really like, and musically they've got so much stuff going on in the song. It's just interesting. Obviously it's from a musician standpoint if you're gonna be in a band.
Well, that's cool. See, like I say, I would, thought at least somebody would. Come on, Bill, you gonna be a Kiss guy?
No, I don't think so.
All right, who you gonna be?
Man, that's a tough question, really. I mean, that really is. That's a very good question.
That's why I told you about earlier this week. I wanted to do something that was surprising. It is a tough question.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I would be. This is going to be the weirdest thing, I'm sure. I think I would be. I think I'd go back and be Ringo in the Beatles, and the reason why is, their careers really weren't that long.
Right.
But to this day, still have a huge impact in everything that really happens musically.
So
because
if
it
you're
wouldn't
gonna
have
be
been
a
for
Beatle,
them.
why would you? But if you're going to be a Beatle, why would you be Ringo?
Because I think Ringo was just off enough that he wasn't in all that mess, the mess of the fighting and all that kind of crap. And he got to go off and kind of be his own thing. And to this day, I
know why you want to be him or Paul. I mean, you don't want to be.
Yeah,
you want to
you
live.
don't want to be George or John Lennon. But only because even to this day, he really
Well, he's got a good status. I mean,
he gets a lot of really in the Beatles, he was a minor player. I mean, we've had that major minor thing. Could you change anybody? Could you change Ringo Starr? Yeah, you probably could have changed Ringo Starr.
Well, there's a lot of those songs that they recorded he's not on.
That he's not on. That's right. But even today, you say Ringo Starr, there's Ringo Starr. People are just freaked out because of that whole insignia of the Beatles. And I think they did some great stuff. And I think their music really, even in that very short 5 years, 6 years, whatever it was, just changed constantly. I mean, it was really very fluid. I mean, if you think about where they went from the very first album, from the White Album to where they went at the end.
They're two bands.
Totally and they did their own thing. They didn't really care. They didn't give a crap. I mean, we're going to do this, and then all of a sudden we're going to come up with Sgt. Pepper's, and everybody's going to go and look, what have you done?
LSD?
Or it doesn't matter. We're going to buy the record. We're going to buy millions of them.
Right.
There's actually a video on YouTube, and if I can find it, I'll post it on our page with Dave Grohl and a bunch of those other people talking about how Ringo, people kind of shun him off as like, oh, he was just a two-beat player. But they were talking about how important that beat was to that type of music to where he didn't overplay it. And not only, it's kind of actually hard to be able to, you know what I'm saying, to not go crazy and to keep that. I mean, it's if I can find that video, I'm gonna post that up.
Well,
because it's
similar to the style Peter Criss brought to Kiss.
Yeah,
right. He's not a rock drummer.
No, it's a swing.
He's got a shuffle to it. Yeah, the swing shuffle.
All right.
Or swing or jazz.
Right.
A little bit of both, yeah.
But it's not a rock. It's not a rock beat. Like I said, until we got into Eric Carr coming in there, that was when it really became a rock beat. But
that's when it came bombastic.
I never thought Peter was a bad. I mean, I didn't think Peter was a bad player.
No,
I didn't think his drumming was
because
bad.
they made the four of them made music together.
It was really the back part of the music. It wasn't the fourth. It wasn't as, I don't know, what's the right word? It wasn't as, you said bombastic. That's not really the word I'm looking for, but
the force of it. It was
okay. Force. Yeah, it wasn't the force. When Eric Carr joined, it changed. I mean, it became.
Yeah, it was.
except for you can't count that first record that Eric Carr did because that's just crap. So we can talk about that. But the second album he did, it was huge. I mean,
right.
For me, that really changed their sound tremendously.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they went from being
night and day. It was night.
It was night and day, absolutely. So, and definitely drummers have that effect on their bands. I mean, you change a drummer, you can have a pretty huge effect.
All right, so you're Ringo, you're in the Guess Who, and I'm going to be Rick Nielsen.
And nobody's going to sit here and listen to this and go, "What the hell?"
All right, Alan, what's your question? You got a question for us?
Well, I've been sitting here trying to think of one.
Well, that's. Can't. Well,
if you could go and replace any member of a band with someone else, who would you pick and why?
Oh,
God. Good Lord.
Well, I wouldn't replace Sammy Hagar with David Lee Roth. That's already been done. And it sucked.
I disagree.
I know.
I disagree.
You both disagree.
But the band, we've had this discussion before. It changed the band.
Changed the band.
So it's okay because it changed the band. They weren't the same Van Halen they were before.
I don't really know. I mean, to make a band, I don't get what I don't get where you're going at, Alan.
I'm not going anywhere.
No, I'm saying you could change. I don't know. What kind of stuff?
So if you took this is dead air, which is not good either.
No, it's good. This is fun though.
So if you took
the Doors and you took out the keyboard player and replaced him with someone else, something like that.
Okay. Get another keyboard player.
Well, either that or it would have to be a bass player, which you would lose the Door sound because that guy played bass when they're the bass part on the keyboard when they played live.
So what if we narrowed it down to what lead singer would you move from one band to another?
That works for me. As you folks can see, I forgot we were supposed to come up with a question.
We're on the roll here, so
I'm not sure, how much the drummer.
What lead singer would you?
Would you pick? Would you move from one band to another?
That's a fair question.
I
would put Elton John in the Guns N' Roses. No.
Oh, and I tell you what, though. Just speaking of that real quick, I got to give Axl props, man. That dude
AC/DC thing was really cool.
Is pulling it out, and I tell you what, I've heard nothing but good as far as his professionalism, showing up, doing what he needs to do. Now, if he can just continue this on with Guns N' Roses, I'll see him in July. If not, I won't. And I have insurance.
You'll be fine. He can't afford not to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Really. I mean, he'll get hammered from.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know.
I can't. I'm trying to think of groups that you could take somebody and move them, and it would change. It would make such a big impact. I don't know.
Could you? Okay, let's just use because we got Kiss behind Bill. If Paul Stanley was not in Kiss, who would you think could maybe have been there and done?
I don't think I care.
I don't either.
David Coverdale.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Axl Rose.
No. No. They're different singers for sure.
It's hard to replace somebody that's already been there. I mean, because these people as certain people. You know what I'm saying? It's just I couldn't imagine any other band without certain people, and even the smaller players, like you even said, the keyboard player for the Doors. Well, the keyboard player for the Doors was also the bass player. That was the main sound of that band. I mean, you can't you can't exchange him with anybody.
So what if you took the drummer out of the Foo Fighters?
Well, they've already had 2. Well, you get 3 if you count Dave. Dave's
but Dave's. I mean, you can't really count Dave. But if you took him out, I mean, and I say you can't count Dave just because that's his band, so that's all right.
So you're going to take out, okay.
Yeah. So if you could you take? Is his name Tony Hawkins? Isn't that correct?
Huh?
Tony Hawkins.
Taylor Hawkins.
Taylor Hawkins. Yeah.
You should be ashamed.
You're thinking Tony Hawk, the skateboard guy.
No, I was not thinking Tony Hawk. I was trying to make sure it wasn't Tony Hawk. But so if you took him away, I mean, after seeing them in live, he brings a real presence to the show.
Right.
So I think that makes a big difference not only to the recording, but also to the live show.
Sure.
And that doesn't always happen. I mean, you have those drummers that play really well, but they sit in the back and they play their stuff and it's fine. And it's not,
But for people who know the Foo Fighters, Dave played on the first 3 albums.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? Taylor and him play a lot alike. So, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay. Well, this was kind of a dead topic.
I know where you're going with this, but I don't.
I mean, I just don't. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think you can take everybody. Not everybody's interchangeable.
I tell you what, people can be replaced. They have replaced Axl Rose, or they put Axl Rose in Brian Johnson's space, and people are loving it. Imagine, could you 5 years ago, if somebody said Brian Johnson is out of AC/DC and we're going to bring Axl Rose in, people would have lost their fucking minds. They would have said, no way. No way. No way. And guess what?
They did
it. They did it, and it's successful.
But I think the success of that happened because of the GNR shows that occurred before. Because I think you're right. I think
they only had one, didn't they? Or 2. They had that constantly. They had the
thing of the Troubadour or whatever,
right, and then they had
the Whiskey Go or whatever.
It called.
Yeah, but they needed to hear him, and then it was okay.
But
I think if you, but I think 5 years ago, if somebody had done that.
You've heard Brian Johnson is actually. Have you seen that thing on the internet where that guy came out and said, "I've got these earphones that you can use," and he even sent it to Brian Johnson. It was a video on YouTube saying, "Brian Johnson, I hope you hear this. I have these earphones, and for people who are almost deaf can hear, is these things that they're like balloons that go in your ear, and these in-ear things, and they're called I can't think of the name of them. But anyway, Brian Johnson has actually, I guess, tried these and says he can use them, and they're thinking about where he can get back into it again." So who knows? I mean, there's all kinds.
I saw something about him supposedly back in AC/DC, but I wasn't sure if it was clickbait or not, so I didn't bother.
No, this is something that look it up on YouTube about Brian Johnson. They're Adele earphones, because I thought, Adele, what the hell is he talking about? And it's something. I think the keyword's Adele on that, but check it out. Interesting. Anyway,
all right, guys,
and that was a fun show, wasn't it?
Well, we could ask the viewers and the listeners.
Yeah, there you go.
If you could replace a band member.
That, or I tell you what, give us your questions. Make up a question for us to answer.
Man, that would work.
That would be a great one.
Yeah.
Anything rock and roll type question, give it to us.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
We're up for it.
Yeah.
All right.
Hit us up on agesofrock.com.
Yep.
Woo-hoo.
Hit us up. Let us on the podcast. Listen on iTunes. Check us out on Facebook.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Fifth Degree Burn, Saturday night.
Your shameless plug day. All right. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it and listening, and we will catch you next week.
Woo.
Later.
Peace out.
See.
Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.